Copyright disclaimer. Under Title 17 U.S.C. Section 107, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. Okay, you guys, this is from theindependent.com from the UK. And you can support them if you choose. Cult prosecuted over safety of commune. There's that word again. Scientologists deny misleading counsel on overcrowding. Imagine people ringing the alarm since 1993. By Tim Kelsey and Michael Ricks. Dated 08 December 1993, Wednesday. The Church of Scientology, one of Britain's largest cults, troll, is being prosecuted by a local authority for failing to ensure one of its largest communes is safe for human habitation. The Independent has been leaked documents from the church headquarters that show it may have misled safety inspectors. Troll, over the number of adults and children living in the commune. The church, founded by L. Ron Hubbard, an American science fiction writer, after the Second World War, has its European headquarters in East Grinstead, West Sussex. It owns a number of large mansions around the town, many more than 100 years old. One communal house burnt down 2 years ago, and since then Mid-Sussex District Council has made regular inspections of cult properties. Imagine, 93, 2003, 2013, 2023, 30 years ago, you guys, 30 years ago. The church, founded by L. Ron Hubbard, known felon, an American science fiction writer, after the Second World War. The cult has persistently denied overcrowding. Deny, troll. In any of these communes, and says they are fit for human habitation. It has, however, been confirmed that environmental health officers from Mid-Sussex are prosecuting Scientology, the cult, for failing to keep Stonelands, one of its largest communes, safe. What do people keep saying about the Blue Building? Safety. LAFD doesn't care. LAPD doesn't care. Bought off, safe-pointed LA City Council doesn't care about the safety of the children in that blue building, of the safety of the adults in that blue building. Susan Barton, Chief Environmental Health Officer, said the cult had ignored an improvement notice issued last year. They called for a number of changes, including better fire safety. Wow, I must be psychic. She confirmed the council was taking the church to court over fire regulations. The first hearing is expected next month. Imagine 30 years ago. What did they do with all that money? A spokesman for the church, the one with no name, said the property had passed previous fire inspections. sure lie, but conceded that the fire standards can be upgraded. We are in the process of making improvements. Miss Barton also confirmed that cult officials had led her during a recent inspection to believe that only about 50 people lived permanently in the main house at Stonelands. Like children. According to a document in the possession of the Independent, the total is about 130. The document is a copy of an internal inspection of the premises by cult members on 18 September. In all, there are 190 people listed as living in the main house and in various outhouses, including a boathouse. Among these are at least 24 children. Troll, who live in dormitories separate to their parents. It's the first thing Brave New World tells them. Black magic. Separate the children from the parents. It's black magic, you guys. The cult official who inspected these rooms noted, how many times have we heard this one, you guys? Smell of wet beds and bleach. In other words, urine. Why don't they say urine? They can't tell us that the children are wetting the beds? You know what children wetting the beds comes from? Oftentimes, many times, from trauma. And bleach. Smell of wet beds need to be handled. I think they were just being polite. Miss Barton, who was asked for a copy of this document, said, "If I've been misled over the number of people living in the house, obviously this is a matter for considerable concern." Imagine all these years later. I mean, maybe they rectified it. Who is the gentleman's name is Hub Cult? Miriam's friend? Of course, he wasn't in the UK. Or maybe he was. I can't remember. The church said last night it had not misled the local authority. Deny, troll. The spokesman said, the one with no name, maybe a staff member was asked and he said 50 people or something. It might have been said offhandedly. He said the authorities knew more people lived there. Mr. Hubbard's basic idea was that through a series of therapies, an individual could achieve peace of mind and eventually immortality. Why don't they say the auditing? Because that's what they're talking about. By the way, auditing is what makes them the most money, I think. It's up there. Child auditing. Child slaves that make Scientology the bulk of its non-taxable income. Yeah, that. Two former cult members who asked not to be identified lived for several years in the Commune. Both were senior officers in the cult, members of the organization that administers it. One said that cult children at Stonelands were encouraged to participate in Scientology. There it is again, you guys, the wording, the weird frickin' wording. That's nowhere even near what the real truth is. You guys know it, and so do I. I mean, maybe that's the way this man worded it. 1, children have no free will whatsoever in Scientology. They are forced into L. Ron Hubbard, the drug addict, black tooth, potbelly, failed military, convicted felon, convict, failed Navy, scum of the earth. Created this. Indoctrination. He said his own daughters, listen to this, you guys, as if he had nothing to do with this, right? He said his own daughters were encouraged to perform training routine 0, in which two people stare at each other for prolonged periods of time without moving. How many times, you guys, how many times has Serge Delmar talked about this? Now, maybe this father was trying to get his daughters out of it. It's possible. It's very possible. I just don't like how certain people try to take themselves out of the equation. You know what I mean? Weirdly enough, I flunked algebra, and that's a whole long story. But my algebra tutor told me I was extremely good in algebra. So that's what I'm thinking here. Why is it that these Scientology parents, not all of them, but a lot of them, want to take themselves out of the equation? I mean, he did get his kids out, so give him that. I want to repeat this so maybe LAPD over there can hear it, maybe Clearwater PD, perhaps federal officials that give a flying F about children. He said his own daughters were encouraged. There's no such thing as encouragement. You will do it. That's what I'm saying right now. To perform training routine 0, in which two people stare at each other like children, by the way, you guys. You see the coding again? Like two children stare at each other for prolonged periods of time without moving. They also participate in the ethics system. No, they're made to do it. There's no such thing as participation. You always notice how many times Scientology want to call their people participants, or they want to call them workers, even though they're allegedly a church, or they're a parishioner, you know, when it's convenient. They never call them children, though, do they? Facts. They also participate in the ethics system of Scientology, though they don't have a choice. This involves, for instance, informing on friends. It's a snitch culture. And all the other dictatorships have used it, and it's just a coincidence, right? Informing on friends and parents for having bad thoughts, just like in the Not-See era, which could include saying something critical of Mr. Hubbard. So that's it, you guys. I will leave a link in the description box. Like and subscribe if you choose. Otherwise, have an amazing day or night, wherever you are. Peace.